the way my family life and friend life has been, like, I don't have a lot of people to talk to, and I find like actually talking out loud to myself in front of a camera really helps me like say it, and hopefully people will get like something out of this, out of what I'm saying, because I feel like I think I overthink, and some of that is useful, and just to like share experiences of like actual real life and how like it is. The other thing I want to talk about Uber and like just the jobs that I'm doing, like I'm a highly educated person. Like I finished university and post-grad. I worked in like a very intellectual kind of like competitive field in journalism. Like it's not so competitive for money, but it's competitive in the sense that like there's not a lot of jobs, and like in order to even make it as a journalist, it's already like an uphill battle in like the corporate world. So I decided to give it up because I realized like there are things like looking from like the outside, like I didn't understand certain things, or I didn't like see like in terms of, for example, even politics, because that's what I studied in university. Like I didn't realize like how like the journalism, it's like I'm very idealistic in like my kind of like views of the world and stuff, and I was always like shocked of like the actual reality, how people are just more about like getting a paycheck, and they don't really care about like the truth or like integrity. And not that like nobody cares, but a lot of people don't. Like a lot more people don't care than they do care. And a lot of like stuff that you end up doing in politics is like you get hired by a certain company that like already has sort of a view that you need to subscribe to in order to work for them, and in order to write anything, like you'll just get like your opinions will get edited out if you're not like in agreement or in alignment with the political views of that company. So like the fact that I majored in politics, like that kind of like cuts my options, because I started with doing business and like legal, but it was like a B2B job, which like I thought was super cool. And I really love doing legal journalism, but then again, it's like when you do legal journalism in Canada, you get stuck like writing about Canadian things, Canadian law, Canadian like everything, right? So then like if I want to move around, if I want to live in different countries, like you're learning about a subject that's like super niche, and then like the chances of you like moving, like you like getting another job, then you're not able to use any of that experience unless you're like, get another job in Canada doing like Canadian law things. And with politics, it's like if you don't agree with the political views, like I'm Ukrainian, and there's a lot of like political views about that, obviously, right? So, and I don't like I'm not the sort of person who like wants to trash any country specifically. Like the way kind of like the basic politics are, it's like usually like, oh, this is the bad guy, we're all gonna like, if you're in North America, like there's a certain country that gets blamed for everything, right? Because it's in their political interest to kind of create that what do you call it, like, because like a lot of journalism is just like basically a tool to spread propaganda in a sense from the government, which is kind of like really sad. Like if I grew up in a certain country and I fully like was a nationalist toward that country, like say if I was Ukrainian, which I am, and I stayed in Ukraine and like I wrote Ukrainian things and I learned Ukrainian like everything, like maybe I would be. But because like the countries that I'm from and like where my mother's from and my dad's from, they're like kind of like not on the same side politically already, and I'm Canadian, I grew up in Canada as well, so none of those countries really are on the same side. So there's like always like kind of where I'm forced to go against some part of myself that like, because I have these like roots that like these countries now are at war. So I just don't want to talk shit about any country. Like whatever's happening is happening, and I realize like this is not gonna end anytime soon. And like for me to be in politics, in the long term, like, I'm gonna have to take a side, and no matter which side I take, it's gonna be going against some part of me. Because, like, genetically and, like, experience-wise, like, I have all of... So the thing is, like, the more I thought about it and the more, like, I realized my, like, reality, the more I was like, this is something I have to leave. Like, this is really difficult. But if I don't leave now, like, eventually I'm gonna be, like, doing things I don't actually want to do and agreeing with viewpoints that I don't actually agree with. Because that's kind of how it is. Like, you become dependent on the salary. Like, you need to, and then your skills are very niche, so it's not like you can move around. Like, you basically have to subscribe to whatever, like, the company is telling you to, and they give you, like, you're pressured into it, basically. Like, nicely pressured, because the thing is, like, the people you work with, you kind of see them as your friends, right? Like, you don't want to go against them, because, like, if you're going against them, it's not like some big boss at the top of the company cares. It's like your immediate manager who needs to put you in line, and then you're basically arguing with your immediate manager. And that's where it becomes problematic, because, like, your environment, you're basically stuck with, like, going against people, like, and these people, they need their jobs. Like, they're already invested in having these jobs. So I realized, like, the way I am and, like, my views, like, I have to, like, this is not the right place for me. And, like, just the corporate environment, I thought, you know, this is an amazing job. Like, a lot of people would, like, kill for this job. Like, not literally kill, but, like, honestly, a lot of people, like, wish they had, like, a steady job, a steady paycheck, like, a safe environment where you can, like, go and have, like, an espresso every morning and, like, just, like, sit at your computer and type stuff and read information, like, super, super interesting information. Like the things that I got to learn and understand, it's, like, I'm so thankful for those experiences and so thankful for, like, everything. Like, it's really, like, I was so naive and, like, delulu, because I just, like, never learned about the real world, but, like, journalism and, like, researching and just, like, learning how governments work, how, like, the laws work, like, it really gave me an understanding of the real world. So I'm, like, it's really, like, an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything, but at the same time, like, it made me see that this is not, like, me. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, what I'm supposed to be doing is social media. Anyway, yeah, so that's what, like, it just, like, suddenly started hitting me today, because, like, I got this message of, like, you need to be creative, like, you need to do things creatively, you need to do things differently. So I kind of just, like, stopped. Like, I just stopped. Like, I literally just stopped, and I was like, I need to, like, refocus and realign myself with, like, what I need to be doing. I need to have this, like, making and editing videos as a priority. Like, because I'm always going into this, like, safe mode where I'll just, like, eat a lot and watch TV. And that's, like, it comes from my childhood, because, like, I had a lot of, like, traumatizing, like, childhood experiences. Well, like, not, like, a lot, but it was, like, one main thing where, like, I had to, like, what I did as a child is, like, I would escape through either reading books. I got obsessed with reading books, or, like, watching TV. And at the time, I didn't have, like, an overeating. Actually, I didn't care to eat at all. Like, I was, like, really not into it. The eating thing, I think, came from later on in life. That's, like, something I developed in, like, my adulthood, I think. But anyway, the watching TV and, like, kind of just, like, zoning out and, like, being a vegetable and, like, just, like, being in, like, in my head is my, like, escape. And then, like, so instead of doing that, like, I can be making videos and I can be editing videos. Like, it's, like, actually a lot of free time that I have, but I end up just, because I have so much anxiety, just, like, from, I think, everything that just, like, laid itself on in my life. Like, I'll literally, right now, I'm recording this video and, like, I have a hard time breathing. Like everything just seems, like, hard. Like, it's, like, this fear that I can't seem to even, like, it's, like, even when I feel anxious, I cannot release it. Like, I cannot have even, like, a panic attack, you know? Because I don't know how to, like, because my body is so good at suppressing things and, like, letting things out. Like, it just comes out very slowly, and I'm just, like, sitting there, like, and I literally have like anxiety with like somebody making a noise. I'll be like, stop, like it'll just like get in my head where I'm like someone, like it just like stresses me out. Like even like people's energy stresses me out. Like when people have anxious energy, or like I literally can feel people's energy, and it's like because I think I've gone through so much emotional abuse and so much like I think if people went through like what I went through, like not a lot of people would like be sane right now. Like I think a lot of people like either be on pills or some kind of drugs. Like the only thing I do is like drink excessively sometimes, like not on a regular basis, but yeah, it would be like a binge drinking kind of thing. But lately I just like I would stop for like a year, and then I'll get into like binge drinking again. Like there'll be people who like have succeeded in things that I haven't succeeded in, even though I wanted it for longer and I tried for longer, but I just didn't try very hard. And then I'll see like there'll be things that they do that I think is not like super respectful, but then they're successful anyway, and then I'm like, well, why am I not successful? But then I realize like why am I comparing? Like I'm not even embarrassed, for example, to be like an Uber driver or to do cleaning, like to make money. Like I think it's like I consider it a point of pride to do work honestly. Like I would rather do that than like say like I could make a lot of money, like because a lot of people try to get me into like kind of like adult work or some kind of like sexual work, because like I'm Eastern European, and like people usually like this like white girl look, like girls with blue eyes and things like that. So like I have nothing against that kind of work for other people, and like people, if they want to do it, it's like their right. But what I've always resisted is that like somehow I feel like people really like, and on social media, like the live streaming jobs that I've had, it's always been this like, that's kind of like where people try to push me towards that, or toward like say like usually it's like the more PG thing is like would be doing makeup, but then like again it's like yeah, I like to do makeup, but I'm not like a makeup girl. Like I just like to put on makeup that makes me look pretty, that I look like the way I look. And with the adult content, it's just not something I ever want to do, like that I've ever wanted to do. It's not, no amount of money like will make me happy. And that's like the other thing I wanted to vent about. I used to work on this app where like there's like the girls who made organic like income, like they were all basically adult workers, like adult content, or either like selling nudes or like being like dating. And like a lot of live streamers, like at least on that app, like that's kind of like how like they kind of like play girlfriend to guys who give them. And like for a long time I was very delusional about the fact that like this is part of like the trauma that I think I put on myself that I didn't realize, because I was very delusional about like what it is that they're doing, and like I didn't want to believe that that's what they were doing. Because sometimes like, you know, if a girl has an OnlyFans, for example, like that's obvious, it's obvious what she's doing, you know, like and they're not like hiding it, there's nothing like wrong with them for them to do it. It's just like my problem became that like guys, like they see a girl who looks like me and they expect that from me as well. And then obviously after like if they see me live stream a few times, they realize like obviously I'm not about that. But then that doesn't matter, like nobody cares about like your PG status or whatever. They'll still like take advantage of you because they still have this expectation that like you need to be nice to them, that you need to put up with their like really bad like dirty comments. Like, and the girls like who do OnlyFans and like who like do like this girlfriend or thing, like things like that, they who plays like girlfriends, they have their own protection mechanisms, like to basically like get the guys like to give them money, essentially, with like the way they with the fact that they're, you know, they're selling this like illusion, right, that they're dating, that they'll say that they're willing to say or do anything behind the camera, like just to get the guy to believe, right? Or like it's more straight up where they're like, here's my nudes, you know, like you need to pay me X amount of dollars. So for me, it was such a uphill battle that like really gave me like mental health issues, because like when you're in that environment every day, and you're not making a lot of money, it just starts to get to you, because people literally would come into my chat room and make like super lewd and dirty comments, and then I just have to put up with it. And even like people who are nice to me, I can still feel like the energy that they have to, I'm always like some poor girl who's like, you know, like that they need to feel sorry for. And then they're like gifting a ton of money to girls because they still want the girls to do they respect that you don't do it, but they still want the girls to, who are doing it, like they're still like sending them way more money because of that. Or like the girls who are doing something sneaky, they're still like getting paid way more. And it's just like starts to get to you, because even the people who are closest to you, like you realize like they're not bad people, they're just like horny, you know? So anyway, I just want to like vent about that, because I really like, I think I need to speak about it, because I had to keep my mouth shut for a long time, because in that environment it was very, very difficult, because a lot of girls like get really mad at me just simply for trying to protect myself. Like I have nothing against them doing whatever they want to do. Like I'm very like sex positive in that sense, or whatever. I hope that's the right expression. Like I don't have a problem with people doing that. Like I think it's a necessary job in the world. Like if there is a demand for it, like I'm a businesswoman, I see myself as a businesswoman, and I think if there's a demand, like that demand needs to be met. So like I don't have a problem with anybody doing that. It's just that I have a problem with people trying to pull me into it, you know. And then eventually I just realized, well, like I need to really set like some pretty hard boundaries. And like the things that I was like open with or okay with because I just didn't know better, like now I've really set such hard boundaries that I think it's like finally helping me. But at the same time, the problem with that is that like nobody really cares, because like a lot of guys say like if they can't date you, or they can't kind of have that illusion of like dating you even if it's online, you just don't see them. You're just like sitting there alone, and or like talking to people who are like the other thing is that you just end up talking to people who are like basically they don't have money, but they just like wanna they wanna date you, they just don't have money. So then they're willing to spend a lot of hours talking to you because they don't have anything else to do. Like they're not out there making money, so like they have all the time in the world to talk to you, but like it doesn't go anywhere, because and it becomes like kind of like a pointless thing, because they don't actually want to be your friend or like your supporter, unless they're like getting something out of you. So the other thing I want to add is that I am very fortunate, because I already have like I'm very clear on what I want to do. It's just the matter of actually doing it, and I already have built like a reality where I have the time to actually do things. It's just like I literally just need to use that time to do those things. And I also want to say like I'm very grateful for like the live streaming experience that I have had, where like I was actually getting paid like right away. Like I got on an app where within a month I was getting like a decent paycheck. Like not that like I wasn't making a ton of money, but like think about it this way. It's like if it's something you never studied, it's something you never like went to school for, you've never like fully invested in something like that, and then right away you have people like backing you up, people helping you, people like trying to do things to help you to grow. Like that is a blessing. That is like a huge blessing. So I just want to say like I am very thankful, because and like there's a few people who like are really good dancers and singers, but they usually like most of them don't last. There is like one or two exceptions, literally. It's so rare. And And it's usually girls who have been like, say, a dancer for 15 years at least, or a singer for 15 years at least, and think about how much experience you need to gain for like to do that. So the fact that I was like making pretty good money just chatting to people and kind of like learning things about like live streaming, it's such a blessing. And then like I was able to do business, which like again is a bit questionable, to be honest. There's like some, I don't know, I don't want to like get into it too much, but like part of it is marketing, because like live streaming is a very new thing that we have, and it's sort of like when maybe reality TV, or like maybe when the camera was invented, for example, like that really changed reality, right? And it's sort of the same thing with like, say, when reality TV, that changed TV so much. And it's the same thing with live streaming. Like that's gonna change, like that changes like the internet and how people view entertainment and how like it's presented. So like a lot of it is like we are creating that reality ourselves. So like obviously it's like anything, like a flower grows from like literally shit. Like any plant, like you need like essentially shit for the beautiful flowers to grow, for like food to grow and things like that. So it's kind of like the same thing. Like even though there's a lot of like vulgar things and like things that people don't talk about openly, and a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, like that's part of the human experience, you know? I lived in like a bubble essentially, and there are things that I just kind of like could not comprehend. I remember people making like or the illusion was created that they're making these like thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, like literally like no one's special, like nobody you would ever know or hear about, and like somehow somebody's sending them tens of thousands of dollars, and I'm like counting and I'm like, how is this possible? Like, you know, and a lot of it is like, or most of it is illusion and like trickery and things like that, right? But it's like that's kind of like part of marketing, like that's how it works. But yeah, so I just couldn't like understand or believe that like the things that were going on behind the scenes, and I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I not getting like tens of thousands of dollars? Like why is this person getting that? And like they're not actually getting that much. It's an illusion, you know? I just didn't like understand how things worked, and it took me a long time to even like, there were things like people would consistently lie to me about, and I would just like think, but how? I don't get, and I would still believe them. And over time I just realized like it's like they're not lying to me, they're lying to themselves. It's like they want to believe that what they're doing, they have to believe it, like, because that's the only way they can do it. Having some fame and having like income, especially when you're like from a small town in like, say, Latin America, or a small town in Canada or the States, like having a job like this is like a dream come true. Like it's a dream come true for even someone living in the city too. But I'm saying like for someone who's like comes from nothing, lives in like a nothing kind of place, like respectfully, that's like magic. I don't want to sound like when I'm venting, like I just need to vent, I think. And I also don't want to get people to be like super pissed off at me, because I don't want to seem ungrateful or entitled. It's just, I think it comes off, it could come off that way. I think when you have to like live like in an environment where like you're treated like nothing, or you're treated like you're not worthy, you start to like act more entitled. So because you start to develop this like harder shell, like in order not to allow people to make you believe that you're nothing. So then for a long time I had to kind of like fight this pressure. So I think that's what it is, because a lot of people will like look at me and think like, oh, she has everything. Not from everyone, of course. like a lot of people are very supportive and they do what they can to help. But I just want to say, basically, I think this is the end of my Wednesday session, and I think I'm just gonna put it on YouTube like this. Hopefully you guys get something out of it, and like my experiences are interesting, and especially like down the road when I am a very successful YouTuber and live streamer, like you guys, or like even I can look back and see, well, these are the struggles that I faced, this is like, these are the things that I realized, these are like the things that made me turn around and change. So I love you guys, and I see you next time.